Hello, this is my review of my fourth and final game in the 2020 Ego Open. And to quickly recap where we are in the standings, I'm right now after 3 rounds, I'm at place 75 with 2 wins and 1 loss. And for the fourth round, we got paired up with this 5-Dan, who so far had 2 losses and 1 win. So let's see how I do. This game was it was a little bit long and messy, so I'll try to keep the review to the highlights. But we have a quite peaceful opening. Go for the Kosumi. And then I take this approach. Here I was considering whether to approach to try to get this nice extension from both sides, but I decided to just extend, aiming at approach next, and when black takes that point, I get this approach instead. Which I think is okay, because now I get this extension instead, and there's still some problems with black shape on the right. This is not solid territory just yet. Now I made this sort of Kobayashi formation on top, which makes it a little bit difficult for black to approach. We used to think this was a mistake. Now with AI, it seems like this is still a quite playable move. But the thinking used to be that with some sort of pincer, this white stone here is going to help a lot in this fight, so this is supposed to be good for white. However, when black presses here, I do chicken out a little bit. I should cut here, according to Katago, and I knew in the game I probably should cut here when I have this stone to help with the fight. But I know this Joseki can get so complicated, so I wanted to keep it simple, so I played a slightly slack move of just pushing on the third line. And this is giving back a little bit, but it's really minor, so I don't think it's a mistake for me to play like this. And then black immediately took this point in a corner, and this is a move I like to play, but I realized recently, I think I looked up the first time because I did this in one of my first videos. It was Fox number 3, where I played this move against my opponent, and I got this result, which is the normal continuation, or like the peaceful continuation. But Kotago was saying that in that game my opponent, but in this game I can push through like this. So I tried to take that to heart. So in this case I did this immediately, and as it turns out it was correct. So that's nice. I wasn't quite sure, like with some surrounding stones, if the result would be good for me, but it looked like it should be okay, and indeed Kotago agrees this is good. So at this time black should take this push here, or black can play this one exchange, but at this time black should push here. It's a little bit of a mistake for black to extend like this, because when I capture and black here, white could go down here to separate these two stones. And we can compare that to black pushing at this time. Now white can't afford to play this on, and of course playing this would look stupid at this time when black hasn't already committed to like playing this bad exchange of extending in the corner. So this time, yeah, white would play some Hane like this, and we would get some result here. But it's a small mistake for black to push at this timing, because I don't actually have to capture. I can go down. But I didn't see this move in the game. I just captured, which would allow black to get this move, which is like slightly better for black. It kind of steals away the corner, and it's still good for white, but it's yeah, much more pleasant for black than if I had found this move. But fortunately for me, black also didn't find this move next. Black instead played this Hane, which I don't think is as big. Now I get the chance to play this move, and I did immediately, because next up this would be like, now this would be very pleasant for black. At least if black plays this immediately, maybe I get this forcing move. So, but now I take this side, and of course it feels a bit slow for black to like fix this cut somehow, so black plays away. But now I get the opportunity to cut here. And this ladder is not working for black, so black sort of sacrifices this one stone and tries to connect up to groups, but I'm able to cut at this point. So we're into a fight here, which is quite pleasant for white because white already has solid territory in the corner, and it's white has the first move here, so it's not that hard to handle this group, while black is going to have to struggle a little bit. So at this point, Kotoko is giving me quite a good game, about 97%, ahead by at least 10 points. So I'm quite good at, like, I got a good result here, but I didn't follow it up that well in the ensuing fight. Because I get a bit uncertain here, and there are so many choices. Like, I need to handle this group, I want to build the left, and also I decide at this point that I want to run out this stone, because I thought it would be nice to force this black group to sort of connect up on the second line. Black, of course, jumps out. I try to get something on the right here, but I get a little bit greedy here. I want to play this wedge to make something happen on the right, but I don't really like, in hindsight, this idea of get a lot of extra territory here, but now this hasn't helped me at all in this center fight. So now I'm just probably going to have to give up these stones, and my group is not looking that good in the center. So Kotoko still thinks it's okay, but I think I made my life a bit too complicated with this sequence. At this point, I have such a good game that I could even play something like this. I think this was the suggested move by Kotoko. Very simple, just connecting up my stones. I don't need to care about the territory here. I already have a good game, so keep it simple like this. And by being strong here in the center, eventually black will have to handle this group in some either by coming out or by connecting up here, and it's pleasant for white. But yeah, I get points. Black gets a stronger attack on the center. I do have this peep here, which might be like not right now, but it's like a forcing move I have in the future. So I try to use that with this attach. For instance, if black plays like this, I could just Atari out, and it's very easy for white. So black plays this one, threatening to cut me off here, and of course I can't afford to take this Atari first, but I can't afford to just connect here. I think. Maybe I could, but it gets a little bit complicated here. I think in the game, like, yeah, I didn't really consider this move too much at this point. But given what happened, so like at this timing, now I'm thinking about, when I think whether I can connect here, I'm checking that this capturing race is actually good for me. So at this time, this was simple enough for me to read out that I can win this one, but I wasn't quite sure what would have happened earlier. And it seems like Kotoko also doesn't really like connecting here, but it's a bit complicated. So anyways, I Atari out, and at this time, the original plan was to save these stones, but then I got a bit scared about what would happen here. So I decided to just save my more important group. Black can capture these ones. And it felt a bit painful, but white still has quite a good game. Jump out here. This is taking advantage of like the shorter of liberties on these stones, because we see here that black can't cut. So black's forced to come back. I can connect up. Now black jumps here. So I find this is one of those difficult situations where I want to build territory on the left, but it's a bit, while keeping pressure on this group, but it's a bit far away. So I play this move in the end, which is a bit like it sort of puts some pressure on this group, kind of, but it doesn't really help me build the left too much. So I don't really like this move too much. I could have played something more sort of practical. Even, you know, this is still a move on the 5th line, but it's still like closer to making territory here. Because this move didn't end up doing much in the game. Black continues attacking this group, but I can quite easily, like, I first jump out here, but then I attach, take this forcing move, again making use of these stud stones, and after this I have made one eye up here and one eye here, so I'm completely alive. Now black jumps into the left side, and yeah, you can see how like this one stone here is not going to help much. Actually, it's more like I'm weak with these stones. I'm going to have to give some stuff up here in the end. I play from this side, trying to deny black the base. I think otherwise allowing black to, like if I play anything else, what would be a good, I don't know, some point here. I think giving black this 2-space extension here would be quite painful. But black can come out, and black plays a forcing move here. And now you can see I have 2 cutting points here. So I protect this cutting point, but black still has this cutting point here. And even though white has a cutting point here, black manages to fix that up in center because I want to keep my eye here. This turns out to be a little bit slow. I didn't necessarily have to respond here, especially since I have this capture next, but I was scared of like when black connects here in the future. Yeah, I wanted to keep this eye. So then black fixed up this cutting point in center, and now black can cut here. And now I actually have to make sure that these stones are connected. So I don't really have time to save these ones. So I play this move to help this side, and black gets to connect up here, and these stones are as good as dead. So I didn't get a very good result here. Like you can see like my initial stone here just got swallowed up, and I didn't get that much territory on the side. It's still quite a close game. I do have some potential to make a bit of territory down here, but it's very even at this point. I played this one, and this is like a bit of an overplay, but I get a good result in the end. Like black is very strong in this area, so there are many variations here which would probably could end quite well for black, but what happened in the game was black gave me this big corner, and black got quite strong shape here, but it's a little bit wasted since black is already so strong up here. And this area is not that big, even though it looks like this might be solid black territory. It's not super wide. So this was quite a happy result for me. I'm ahead by about 5 points according to Katago, at like 95%, since the game should be quite simple at this point. There are not that many unsettled groups, and we both have some nice solid territory. But there are quite some complications that remain. First black connects here, and I decide to just connect. I could think about playing some more active move to make my second eye, but black could actually push here to remove my one eye in center and then continue attacking me, and that felt like a big headache, so I just took the safe eye. Then black jumps into the right, and I decide to handle this by playing this double attack like this to connect up, but this leaves some co-RG, so this is going to be a big complication for the rest of the game, that black can start his co. Black doesn't do it right away, but jumps into the lower left corner, hoping to make some big co-threats, I think, because this is not locally working to live. I could probably kill this quite easily with some move around here, but black is going to get some big co-threats if I continue to kill this. For instance, like if black just crosscuts here, like I capture, then maybe now black starts to co, and black has like a very big co-threat here. Just something along those lines. So I felt like it would be to resist this plan of black to create co-threats here. I just thought I'll Tanuki to handle this situation, but it felt a bit slow to just capture the co directly, so I jumped into this corner. Always this point feels like white should get something out of this shape. It might be a little bit late. I'm not sure if it really should be working at this time. But in that game, black ended up letting me live here, so that was nice. But this didn't really help this situation that much. So next up, black just takes the profit by living in my corner. So we both sort of, I lived in black's corner, black lives in my corner. But then I make sure to take the co. now there are quite a few big code threats, maybe to kill my corner here, or also this group, since all my big corner threats were here disappeared. In the future there might be some code threats against this group. For now it's fine, it has at least one eye down here and probably one eye here, so it should be okay. Okay, so black plays this move, threatening to separate this group, and I play this attached to connect up in this direction rather than here. But this does leave some big code threats for black here. So black takes the ko, I take the ko, black threatens this group, play this Hane, black takes the ko. And here I just thought that, okay, if I connect up here, this is both a very big move on territory, and it makes sure that if black does win this ko, at least one of the sides is already handled. If we picture a future where black wins the ko like this, then I no longer need to worry about these stones totally connecting up, and as long as I can live with this side, it's okay. So I played this one, black has a ko threat here, another ko threat here, and descending here is quite a sort of bad local ko threat. You only want to play it if you're sure that you can win the ko. And in this case, I have decided that I'm going to ignore anything if black plays the ko threat, continues playing the ko. For instance, I can ignore this ko threat. This is not a real ko threat, since I can play here. And also a move around here. I decided that I would be able to, even if black cuts here, my thinking was that I could connect up and that I would be able to handle this group. So I have this descend here. So probably I have like one potential to make one eye here and potential to make, if black takes that away, somehow this move actually lives just along the bottom. Something like that. So I thought, okay, I can ignore anything, so I can afford to play this sort of bad ko threats. I'm going to win the ko now. And so black, instead of trying to continue the ko immediately, black plays this move trying to, I think, set up some more ko threats in the future against this group. So I make sure that the ko is handled. And we continue playing sort of large endgame moves. This might be a bit, black might be able to do something more a bit active than connecting directly here. I do have some follow-up, because cutting here is not working immediately. The most I could do is maybe playing some move threatening to capture or connect up, and it's not that big, so I think this is a small mistake. But this is also quite a big mistake. This move just dies, so it just gave like 5 points back at once. Because black can wedge and cut. So, but I'm still actually doing okay at this point. Kotko thinks I'm comfortably ahead, about 8 points. I didn't feel that in the game. I felt like, especially after this blunder here, I felt a bit bad about the game. And I didn't really have time to count it accurately. Let's just scroll through the end game here. This ko is sort of a lingering annoyance. Even though I settled the ko here, it's still quite big because there might be some problems with this group in the future, and when I capture it's a double Atari, so that's why we play some moves there. I am threatening a little bit here to cut black off this group to move around. Let's see. For instance, at this time right now, I could cut black, but black has one eye here, and black could also play this move to make a second eye in this area. So I realized that this area is sort of settled. So I played this big Hane. Black connects this ko and I get this on. I force black to connect up now that I took away this I. And we are coming as soon on the biggest mistakes of the game from both of us. But so far, now it's just small endgame, like 2-point moves all over the place. But now black takes this ko. And I didn't actually think this was a real threat. So I didn't treat this ko very seriously. I didn't think, like, even if black captures or connects the ko and gets to follow up, I didn't think black could do anything. But it is quite a serious threat, so I think Hatuko was saying at this time white should just connect. I'm ahead by like Komi or so it's good enough. No need to risk the complications which might occur from this ko, for instance, because I played this as a ko threat. I think it's just a small ko, but black could cut here and there's going to be some trouble. But we will see like the RG here later on when black connects, so I'll show it at that point. For now, we'll just play out this ko. And like at this point, we both like black connects the ko, and we both just leave it, start playing small endgame moves. And my reading here is that black can Atari here, but of course black can't play this one. And if black goes down here, I was thinking, okay, I can just capture, even though black has this Atari, and say here, I'm okay because I have this wedge. So this is fine. But there was a stronger move for black here, which I missed. So if you want to, try to find the RG for black here. More specifically, like this first, this move is okay, but at this time black has a stronger move that I didn't consider and my opponent also didn't find in the game. So the Tsutsuji for black is actually this Descent, which makes more liberties rather than like this Atari doesn't really help black make more liberties with this group. This move still threatens to reduce the liberties here. If I play from this side, black can Atari like this and I die. And if I like capture here, now when black saves, this group will die. I can no longer, like if I wedge here, I can't actually, like normally you would expect white to be able to Atari here, but I can't because of this stone, so black wins this semi-I. So that's a huge thing, and we left it on the board for quite a few moves. We both continue playing small endgame. And at this time, finally, I connect here. Mostly because it was just like a small endgame move. I had some idea that there might be some complications here, but I still thought that there was nothing, so it was just small endgame move. I have to connect here eventually. But luckily for me, I got there first. That would definitely have been a game-deciding swing if black got that point and found that Tetsuji. Now we have the last points of the game. We play some small ko here. And I play some few ko threats inside black's territory here. But it doesn't look like there should be any real trouble for black inside this area. Black is like alive on this side, it looks like, and this side has lots of liberties in one eye. And I can't even make one eye inside, so there shouldn't be anything real happening inside here. But as it turns out, I play this cut, and this does actually set up something to happen here later on in the game after all the outside liberties are filled. But neither me or my opponent see it at this point, so we both continue filling dame. I play some more forcing moves here because I'm kind of like, I still have this idea that I might be behind in the game. I'm ahead by about Komi at this point anyways without this stuff. So I could afford to just play it out and win the game, but I feel like I might need something extra, so I'm trying to make something happen here even though it doesn't look like it should work. But black just plays Atari and Atari, and at this point, yeah, it looks completely dead, so I continue playing, sort of filling this last dame. And I can't fill this last dame because I'm short liberties, so I capture. black feels a liberty, but this is actually a huge mistake because when black takes his own last liberty, now suddenly this is working. So black should have at this point just captured these stones, and it's still a win for white, but it's like a win by, I think, yeah, around Comey, 6.5, 7.5, something like that. Yeah, probably 7.5 it looks like, I guess. But yeah, when black takes his last liberty, I can Atari here, and at this time, if black connects, I play here, and black can take a liberty from either side. Black can capture, but then I reduce liberties like this, and it's actually a Seki. So I removed all of these black points, even though none of black groups die. It's still like it's a huge huge loss for black. And if black like there's nothing else to do for black really, black can Atari here and live, but then it's a Seki between these two groups. And playing this Atari here starts a Ko, but of course there's no Ko threat big enough. This would be like, what would be a big Ko threat? I guess black could play this one as a Ko threat and save this part of the group. But yeah, this Ko is not feasible for black. So yeah, at this point black actually resigned, since now it's like a loss by, after this Seki here, it's going to be like a 30-point win for white. But I'm kind of happy that I was actually winning on the board before this. It felt like it would have felt like a bad way of winning the game otherwise, just this black feeling this lost liberty unnecessarily. Yeah, so that was the last game. Let me quickly bring up the graph from Kotago, so you can see here. I had quite a good game here in the beginning after this corner, but there was some ups and downs when I didn't really handle this mid-game fighting that well, but it went okay in the end. And we have a completely even game here at this point after I sort of mess up this sequence. But I get something back here, I get this big corner. And we actually sort of stabilize here. At this point, we're just playing small endgames. We're at a steady white lead. But then we get to this point here in the graph where we both miss this huge stuff with this Ko. So that's where you see these crazy swings in win rate at each move, where we're both missing that this is like a game deciding move, S15. But when I get it, then we're back at like steady win by white. And then suddenly at the end, black makes a huge mistake, and it turns down to like a 30-point win. So a bit of a messy game, not too proud of it, but we got to win. I got to win at least. So all in all, I won 3, lost 1, which I think is a fine result. I think my registered rank was probably not too far off. Maybe 5 down would have been more accurate, I'm not sure, but seems like it was okay, since I also lost to 4 down in the first round. They haven't actually posted the final standings yet. It seems like maybe not all results have been reported in, but so I can't show that in the video, but I guess you can find it if you're interested at the AJ website. Yeah, thanks for watching the game, and see you soon in a different video.